Hello everybody, my name is Ben and welcome to a showcase I've been working on for a while, and I mean a while. I started these I think as soon as quarantine began, so that's like March. That's a while ago I've been working on these, but of course I had vacation in the middle and I've just been kind of busy, but I've been working on and off of them and I'm really proud of these guys. This is my Sinister 6 custom minifigures. I have no clue how I'm going to put a logo for the Sinister 6 or music for these, so I guess I'll figure that out while editing. Yeah. Basically, every year I make a ton of Marvel figures because of, Marvel movies coming out, and, just Marvel, the anniversary, and things like that. But this year, there were absolutely no Marvel movies, coming out, so I had no clue what to do, so I ended up making Sinister 6 figures because Spider-Man is my favorite superhero, and I think he has some of the coolest villains ever. So I really wanted to make his villains. Also, I'm probably going to sound really weird in this video because my room is so hot right now, and I mean so hot. We had the air conditioning redone, and it broke today, a day after we got it redone. And also, with this new setup, the window's right there, and the sun is shining in on me. So yeah, I'm very hot, so if I sound out of breath, that's why. But I'm just gonna get right into it. Starting off with, of course, the leader of the Sinister Six, or the leader of them in most versions. Of course, there's a lot of different versions of the Sinister Six. This is Doc Ock, who is a minifigure I've never made in Lego. I don't think I've ever made any of these in Lego. Actually, the last two, I think I have at least the last one, which is why I wanted to make these, other than when I used to make purist figures and post them on Flickr. In fact, I think I actually made a Sinister 6, which I'll show on screen. It might not be the same characters. I'm not exactly sure. I can't remember. Yeah, so this is kind of a revisitation of that. But of course I had to make Doc Ock. I wanted to make his face and his head a little different because I don't really like how Doc Ock looks, to be honest. I think he's such a cool bad guy. But his costume and stuff, it's really dorky, and I went with the dorky costumes for a lot of these and the older costumes, but I've just never really liked Doc Ock's suit, so I took inspiration from a lot of things. The head and the hair is my own idea. I used the Captain Cold's face, which is painted. I painted the glasses glow in the dark, so they're kind of glowing there, you can see. And then I gave him the newer Superman hairpiece, which is brown but dry brushed gray to make him look kind of like an old fart, because he's an old fart. And then I based his costume off of course, the original Doc Ock costume, but I also took some elements from the Spider-Man PS4 costume. And then on top of that, I gave him a lab coat just to make him look even cooler. It gave him a lot of layers and gave me a lot to customize, and I think he turned out looking really cool because his arms are basically the ones that are in all the Lego sets, except I attached it to one of these new Outrider pieces, and I kind of created them on my own based on Lego's designed arms. I wanted to do something special with them, but I don't know, I just kind of ended up using the ones Lego used, but I think they look pretty good, so I'm fine with that. And that's, oh wait, no, it's not it. I used my technique where I chop off the top of minifigure heads and put them on the gloves to create glove tops. And then that might actually be it. I just painted his boots yellow and his little belt. And then he has an E-tape part here to be basically, I guess, the brace for his arms here. And that is it for Doc Ock. Next up is my favorite member of the Sinister Six, my favorite minifigure of this series, and what is looking to be my favorite minifigure of the year, except for maybe Grilby. But that is Sandman, and I'm really proud of this dude. He's floating a bit because he can't actually stand on a minifigure thing, so I'm just gonna actually get rid of that. But man, I'm really proud of this guy. So I did use his original comic book appearance. Face is fully custom besides the mouth. I think it was Gimli's face. Yeah, and then I borrowed the hair from whatever Jude Law from Captain Marvel, because I felt like it looked better than the Widow's Peak hair that I had used. He has the traditional green shirt with the dark green stripes, and on the side there as well for his arm, and they also run onto the back. I tried to make a lot of the designs for these figures go onto the back, or at least him, so that way he looks cool and 3D, I mean not 3D, but just cool from all angles. And then of course, the elephant on the figure is his giant arm, which I am so proud of. So basically, this was part of a minifigure arm attached to a tube piece, and it just sticks in there like that. And I also used a toothbrush to splatter some sand-colored paint onto his chest to make it look like it's kind of turning into this giant hand. And I actually made it to be a giant Lego arm, which I'm really proud of. I sculpted it out of green stuff, and then actually rolled it in some real sand, and then painted it a sandy color, and then dry brushed it with brown, which makes it look so awesome. And so this part can actually come out and be replaced with other parts. So for example, I made this brick built hammer, so he can have a hammer to hit Spider-Man with. For his legs, I wanted them to look really cool, to where it's kind of like he's turning into sand at the bottom. So I painted some normal-ish pants and did the same splatter technique where I splattered some tan paint onto his legs, and then I sculpted this little sand thing coming up. I don't know, it's like his legs are turning into sand on top of a plate, which makes him a bit taller. And then again, I rolled that in sand, or that didn't really work, I had to glue the sand to it, but it gives it a grainy effect still, and it makes him taller, and also makes it look like he's like fading into the ground, which I'm really proud of, and I just love this figure a lot. So that is it for the Sandman. Kraven the Hunter was actually a minifigure I wasn't sure if I wanted to make, because I think that the Lego version of him that Lego made, I'll put it right over here, is absolutely one of the best printed Marvel figures. It just really was excellent, so I kind of felt bad taking that figure of mine apart since I have it. But so what I did was I incorporated some elements from that set. So he has the same arms, which are just flesh arms, and then I put some e-tape on them with some prints, some animal prints, and then he has the same legs. Actually, I barely ever use printed legs whenever I'm making customs. I usually fully paint them, but I really like that leopard print, so I took it and I continued it onto the sides there, which is not as great a job as what Lego did, and then gave him some dark brown boots with some black details and some black pockets. And then he has two very simple accessories. He has the newer crossbow piece that actually fires, which it's Chewbacca's thing, and also this Lord of the Rings sword to be one of his cool knives. He has the Doctor Strange hair, which I also left untouched because I liked the white streaks in it, and the face from Claw from from Black Panther, except for I took the beard off and I painted my own goatee. He has the same fur piece from the original Kraven the Hunter, which I painted to be a reddish orangish color because that matches the actual lion mane from the comics better, as well as a paper coat painted to look like the Lego version of the lion's head, which I'm really proud of. And then he has one of those muscular already printed Lego pieces for his chest. I used a lot of already printed pieces for this figure, which is really what makes him different than most of the ones I made, but I really liked that print. And then I just painted his necklace on. And then for his belt, I wanted to make him a little taller, and I wanted to do something cool with his belt. So I used the Lego Batman movie belt and painted the zebra pattern onto it, gave it the gold buckle, and on the back I actually attached a quiver to it, dark brown quiver, so that way he has arrows for his crossbow, even though it shoots studs, so I guess he doesn't really need arrows. But yeah, I'm really proud of this guy, and so that is it for Kraven the Hunter. The Rhino was the first minifigure I made for this showcase, which is probably why he's also my least favorite. Also ignore that light, again the window is shining in on me. And so yeah, this is the Rhino, who, even though he's probably my least favorite of the series, I think still looks pretty cool. So basically, I was going to make this guy a big fig, but I've had this weird like Mega Bloks lizard body. I'll put a picture of it here. I'm having to put a lot of pictures in this video, but it's like of the lizard from The Amazing Spider-Man, which my grandma got for me one year, and it's been sitting in my collection for years, and so I thought, hey, I could use it for the Rhino, so I did that. So to do that, I took the head off, and I put a Technic piece in there, which just attaches to a normal minifigure head that's fully painted, and has a sculpted horn and a normal horn, and then I painted the eyes on the side there to look like Lego eyes, which I'm pretty proud of. And then he has the sculpted muscles on top of it, because I really didn't want him to have a scaly lizard body. And then I just kept the arms how they were, because I liked the muscles, and I liked his arms to be a little scaly, even if his torso wasn't. And then the back, I had to sand the tail off, so he kind of has a big booty, but I'm fine with that. He looks pretty cool. And then I just painted him all gray and dry brushed him with black to give him a more weathered appearance. And that is it for the Rhino. Ooh, I'm gonna kill you, Spider-Man. Sorry about whatever that was. The next figure is Electro, who was definitely inspired by his comic appearance. This is one where the costume is not my favorite. I much prefer some of the newer iterations, but I just thought that I've kind of always wanted to make this costume, even though I don't know, I kind of like it in a weird way, you know? Like, I really enjoy the costume, even though it's not very good at all. So I really wanted to make it. So yeah, the face is just a green head that I painted a fully custom face onto. It's kind of hard to see his eyes because they blend in with the yellow of his helmet, but he has yellow eyes and a very angry smile expression, because pretty much everyone here had like the angry with open mouth expression, so I gave him a smile, even though it's an angry smile still, because they're all angry, of course. They're the Sinister Six. And then he has a cardboard piece that I cut to look like a lightning, the lightning-y thing he has all over his face. Then he has, I painted his torso and everything green, and then painted muscles on there, as well as some yellow lightning, and he has these lightning bolts, which I painted a yellowy silver, so they kind of shine. And then his arms, I painted yellow onto them to look like they have long gloves with lightning bolts coming off them. Also lightning bolts on his pants, lightning bolts all over this figure. One thing I regret is I was going to make the female version of this Electro, which is a figure I've always wanted to make. So I kind of feel bad I didn't do that. But I just kind of wanted to stick to the classics. So I might make the girl Electro at some point. But for now, I just wanted to make this guy. And that's it for Electro. Next up is a figure I was originally going to be cutting, and was definitely going to be cutting until a couple days ago, and that is Mysterio. You might be asking why would I cut this figure, but it's because I literally made a Mysterio like half a year ago for Spider-Man Far From Home. This is him right here. And now that I'm like comparing them, like, I actually kind of like the comic one more, but I'm really proud of this figure, and I just worked really hard on it, and I kind of didn't want to do the same thing again. So I tried to do a very different thing for this Mysterio figure. I was about to say Electro, but that is incorrect. So of course the big difference is he's based off his comic appearance, as well as a couple other things. The first thing you're going to notice is his big old head, which is the piece that of course comes with the normal Lego Mysterio. I just sculpted onto the sides here to give him the fabric kind of, I don't know what you'd call that comes above his helmet there. And then underneath it, it looks kind of smoky, and how I did that was there's actually in there, I'm afraid to take it off because sometimes it makes a mess when I take it off, but it has a brick in there. Whoops. It has a brick in there which I glued a bunch of cotton onto and dry brushed it with gray and purple, so that way it looks like smoke inside of there, which I think is really, really cool. The next big thing you're going to notice is his arms. His arms aren't like normal minifigures because, again, I wanted to make him as different from this one as possible, and I kind of wanted to experiment with minifigure posing for a while now, especially after, oh my gosh, are you kidding? As I was saying, I wanted to experiment with minifigure posing after some cool figures my friend Decent has made, as well as some others I've seen by other customizers. So I did that with this figure by cutting off the studs or the pieces on his arm, you know what I'm talking about, sculpting over it and gluing it into his arm sockets facing upwards to give kind of I wanted him to have sort of a appearing or vanishing, whichever one he's doing, approach, where he's kind of like raising his arms in the air, having his enemies be in awe. Sorry about that. I sculpted a little bit of his cape on the front, as well as I used some cardboard for these gold pieces with the eyeballs on it. You can't really see the eyeballs because they're covered by the sculpting. But then he has his cape, which I painted purple. It's made out of paper, and I have it kind of in a way to where it's coming out again as if he just appeared or is just about to disappear. And then his arms to make his big golden gloves. I put E-tape over the ends of his arms and gave him yellow hands, which I painted gold. And then the hardest part of this figure was the lines. It took me so long to paint all of the lines. And then the first thing I did, I showed this to my mom, and she said, you know, you should have painted the lines on the side too. So I didn't paint the lines on the side, and you can really notice that. Yeah. I don't know what I'm saying. Yeah, it took me a long time to paint them. But I also painted some muscle details in dark green on his chest, and then he just has gold boots, and that is it for Comic Mysterio. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to know some other projects I'm working on, I just made a video talking about that. I have quite a few coming up I'm pretty excited about. No more Marvel ones for the year though. I'm probably going to make some more Marvel figures, but I don't think I'm going to have any big projects like this. If I make a random custom minifigures anytime soon, I will hopefully have some more of those. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Also, I want to give a shout out because I've been forgetting to do this. It's been in the description of my videos, but down in the description I have 5 really cool customizers that recently won a contest I did. So please go do that. Also, if you want to be featured on on this YouTube channel, I'm starting a new series called JustASpotlight, to where if you send me videos to your to the email address in the description, I will review your figures with a guest star. We will talk about your figures and show them off, and that's basically a free shout out. So I'd say do that if you want to. Also, I have a project coming up that I've been really secretive about that is going to feature Marvel characters and Lego in some way, shape, or form. So be on the lookout for that. And I will say have a I was trying to think of a Spider-Man joke, but I don't know. Have a sinister day. Yeah. I hope I never say that again.